Hello again, and welcome back to my beginner's guide for verse 1999. Today, I want to go over upgrading your characters. In order to progress through the game, you need to upgrade your characters. By the end of Chapter 2, it expects you to at least have Insight 1, and in much later stages, such as late story stages and even the endgame stages, you would definitely need to upgrade most of your characters to Insight 3. Upgrading to Insight 3 is one of the most important things for a character because it fully unlocks their kit. Now, there are other forms of upgrading other than Insight here and leveling up. There are Psychubes, Portraits, and Resonance. Portraits are not entirely important, they are just character dupes. Psychubes are interchangeable parts of any character's kit. They are essentially an extension to their kit. I will be going over these later. Now, Resonance is another really important part to upgrading any character. Resonance is tiny little tweaks that you could implement into character stats. They are essentially just these little building blocks that you could put into here. However, in order to get to fully upgrade them, you do need to get to Insight 3. Now, another essential part of upgrading is Euphoria. These are endgame upgrades to character kits that can tweak their kits slightly to almost entirely. An example of Euphoria's changing entire kits is with Tooth Fairy. Without her Euphoria, she is just a general healer. However, with her Euphoria, she becomes exclusive to Impromptu. Her Euphoria makes her a support for Impromptu. She will make it so that the team can cast more cards and generally boost the damage of the attacks from Impromptu. Now, on the top right here, there is a thing called Photomancy. These are just upgrades that you can get for Euphorias with dupes. Not every character has them, only very few do. I believe only Tooth Fairy and Isolde for right now. Now, I'm going to use Voyager as my example here. Her Insight is not upgraded at all, she's just at her base kit, nothing is unlocked. Her Euphoria is also not unlocked, and she does not have any Psychubes set in, nor does she have any Resonance that is unlocked right now. Now, here's a tip that you might find useful. Up at the top, with this little logo with a key with an eye on it, click that and it'll show you the recommended teams, the recommended Psychube, and if you click growth goal here, it will show you what materials you need to upgrade that character. And even further from that, click on the materials and it will show you where to get those. Now, for Insight materials, you'll need everything that it lists. Depending on the character, it will have different materials that are needed, and especially these pages. These pages here are upgrade materials specifically for Insight. There are 4 for each respective Afflatus, however, for characters that are of the Spirit and Intelligence Afflatus, it will just use 2 of different Afflatuses. They could be obtained from all 4 of these respective stages, but there are 3 different kinds of them. There are the pages, the scrolls, and the books. Each one is needed for their respective level of Insight. So for Insight 1, you'll just need these pages. Insight 2, you'll need the scrolls. And Insight 3, you'll need the books. You're able to get the pages from these 2 stages here. The scrolls from these 2 stages. And the books from these 2 stages. When you're farming for these materials, always do the ones that are the second in line. That way you're always able to get more of these. Now that I've unlocked Voyager's Insight 1, I am able to do her Resonance. Now when you level up Resonance, you'll need these things. These upgrade materials are mostly from the Fragment Shop here. When you first start, there will be a 40% discount for however many. And to the left of it, you'll see the higher rarity ones that are also need to fully upgrade Resonance. All 3 of these can be purchased here. They could also be purchased at the discounted rate, but for the most part, they will be purchased here. You can also get these as rewards for doing quests and tasks for events. Now, where do you get this currency? You get it from Artificial Somnambulism. So if you do Artificial Somnambulism and do every single stage, and then further on, every single limbo stage, you'll be able to get a weekly refresh of it. So right here, I'll be able to get all of these once it refreshes. And once again, this is only obtainable through artificial somnambulism, through doing the tasks that it wants you to do. Now, once again, it's not the only place that you can get it. You could get them from the event shops. Here is the Brief Cacophony, the second stage of it, and the Moment of Dissonance. And up here with the higher quality items, the Soreness Knell. Now, every patch will have them, but you still need to wait for the next update to roll out before you could buy them again. When you get to level 9 Resonance, you'll need to go to the pawn shop in order to get these materials, which can be purchased through these casket materials, which are located in the Orneric shop. You can only get a certain amount of these per month. Now, if we go back to Voyager's Resonance, we'll be able to level her up. You will also need other materials along with whatever Resonance upgrade material that you need. You'll also need to grind for these, but you could also just craft them through the wilderness, which if you have the materials for, is not even a problem. And once you get to certain points, you'll need to upgrade your insight to further progress Resonance. Now, there are best builds for certain characters, however, if you don't really care too much about that, or are not in the end game, you could just do quick load and it doesn't really matter what you do. Now, for characters that are at their max Resonance, or at level 10 at the very least, you'll be able to unlock Resonance Patterns. Resonance Patterns are just other tweaks to character stats. So if you want a character to go further into one certain stat, you'll be able to select it. So if you see the fire icon right next to it, that means it is the most used one for that specific character. Once again, you could just go with the normal one. You don't actually have to go with whatever one is the most popular. However, if you do want to go this route, you will still need to upgrade, which takes even more materials. Now for Psychubes. As I said before, Psychubes are interchangeable parts of character kits. However, not everyone's going to benefit from any specific Psychube, because Voyager here is not going to benefit whatsoever from Recoletta's. And she's definitely not going to benefit from Lopera's either. Now, once again, if we go to this little key eye, it will tell you what Psychubes are recommended for any specific character. Now, usually the best Psychube is the one with the character's face on it, but sometimes that's just not the case, like here with Acorn Bloom. Acorn Bloom does not benefit from the Psychube whatsoever because it is an extra action Psychube, and it will also boost the damage of Genesis damage. Now, that Psychube isn't made for Bicorn Bloom, it's actually a good Psychube for 37. But even then, 37 has her own better Psychube. Now, Psychubes can be obtained in two ways. They could be purchased, or they could be obtained through Newman Analysis. Now, the ones from Newman Analysis you're never going to use. You're actually going to use them for upgrading other Psychubes. Now, the ones that you're usually going to use are the 5 and 6-star Psychubes. So, all of these. Some 5-star Psychubes will be better than some 6-star Psychubes, but it ultimately depends on who you are using them on. Now, if we go into the shop here and go to the Psychube shop, we will be able to see all of the Psychubes that are available through here. Now, there are a lot of 5-stars and a lot of 6-star Psychubes that we get through this. Now, whatever one you are trying to buy ultimately depends on what characters you have. Again, if it has their face, it is more than likely made for that character. But again, it's always best to go to the upgrade tracker and see what Psychube is recommended for your character. Now, when you're upgrading Psychubes, just select 4-star and below and select Quick Load. That way, you'll be able to use all the Psychubes that you're never going to use. Now, at certain points when upgrading Psychubes, you'll be met with having to get these, which are usually also obtained through the Psychube shop. But you could also get them in other areas, like the Nostalgia shop and wherever else it is. You could also get them through event shops and tasks from events, along with any of the upgraded versions of them. Now, a good stopping point is level 50. You don't entirely need to go to level 60 for these Psychubes. The material needed for them, the gold material here, it is It's a bit hard to craft, and you're probably not going to get that many of them, especially in early game. So the best stopping point would usually be around 50, but you could still go above and do 60. Now, another way to upgrade Psychubes is through amplification. Amplification usually requires the same Psychube, but you could also use these materials called gluttonies, and there are a 5-star equivalent called greed. So up here are the gluttonies. They are 6 stars, and the greeds are 5 stars. You can amplify 5-star Psychubes with 6-star Psychubes, but just don't do that. It is not recommended. Gluttonies can be bought from event shops and through the normal Orneric shops. However, greeds are almost exclusively through task rewards. Now, when you're trying to buy Psychubes, you will be met with prices of these weird little orbs. All you need to do is go to Numa Analysis, and you'll be able to get these pretty common from here. Unfortunately, the materials are at fixed rates. However, there are occasionally events called Double Analysis that will get you more of those. Now for Euphoria. Euphoриas also do require a lot of materials. The materials that are required for Euphoria can only be obtained through Reveries of the Rain and the Rainwave shop here. Reveries is a set of endgame stages. They're designed to be hard. You're not going to be able to complete them most of the time, and you will need multiple teams. Now, every week, you'll be able to unlock more materials through Trance, but in order to get the max out of it, you need to complete stage 200. That way, you will be able to get the max amount of materials every week. Every week, you get 4 trances that you could just use in exchange for these. There are no other uses for trance. Now, to actually unlock the effects from Euphoria instead of the stats from it, you'll actually need these keys, which can be obtained through Reveries and once again the Brainwave shop. But once you unlock the Euphoria, you won't actually get the full effect from it until you fully upgrade it. So now that my Voyager is fully upgraded, I can now use her in the recommended teams. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, even if it's unrelated to the topic of this video, I will be more than happy to answer below. But for now, I will be calling you here.